Sir, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. So as I mentioned in the chat box, so as discussed in the last class, can we have some sample documents if it is ready? Then discuss, and so that you can get a clarity on the next chapters as well what to do. So any group who just want to present, and I can make them the host and they can start sharing the screen. Yes, which group is ready? Can you please come forward? Yes, none of the group ready or what? So please respond. Otherwise, how do I know? I cannot see all of you, right? Yes, any group is ready with the document that we discussed last class. I given enough time also last class. Arijit Maji, so have you done that? Your group? Yes, Sanjeevani Mishra. I can see the names. Chandray, Siddhi. Yeah, Sanjeevani, is your document ready?
Sir, I'll take one more day for it.
One more day. Already I've given many days here. No group is ready. Siddhi, Chandray, Tanmay.
Sir,
Sir,
actually,
31 will present.
Yeah, then you share the screen. So you are Shreya Srishti, right?
Yes, sir.
So can I make you the co-host so that you can share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I made you the co-host so you can share the screen.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Shreya, what happened? Why don't you share your screen?
Sir, I'm having some problem in sharing. My team member will share the screen.
Then I have to make.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Sir, I'm Shoham, sir. I will share the screen.
So can you share, or I have to make you co-host?
Sir, I'm trying to share once.
Just a minute. Let me make you co-host. Yeah, I did it. Please.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, sir. Shreya, you can start.
Good morning, sir. Our project is Smart Social Distance Monitoring System. The objective of this project is mainly focused on pedestrians moving without hassle of always being aware of social distance. Its objective can only be said successful if it can effectively alert users about social distancing. Modification of this system is to be done when its functionalities, accuracy, effectiveness can be enhanced or some issues need to be fixed. Now, I'm going to talk about the establishment of project infrastructure. We are using cameras which will reduce the efforts of users to great level and will make it easy and convenient to track people. Person location is detected and represented as a point object. As many persons are moving simultaneously, so to determine in which direction a particular person goes, we calculate the distance between the point object at different instants, and the minimum distanced object can be considered as the same person. We need to find Euclidean distance between 2 point objects. Person are identified from user database here. To develop and manage project, we require project managers, backend developers, application developers, database administrators, support team, hardware technicians, and the analysis of the project characteristics. We are using CCTV camera to track people. Instead of sending people messages, we can generate robot calls to notify them too. The AI system is going to be capable enough to work fast and alert people without much delay. Risks faced by this project is faulty cameras, software optimization, software delay without sending alerts, and staying within specific. Now, to identify project product and activities, the product will have following functionalities and modules like object detection, object tracking, distance management, user identification, and product instances and sequential modules are like video streaming, video optimizing, AI-based video analysis, detection of user face from database, and messages communicated to corresponding user. And the time and effort required for this project is time elapsed is 2.5 months, and each member worked for 1 hour in a day. So the effort is 2.5 into 30 equal to 75 hours. And the risk of this project are like faulty cameras, server down, delay alert, and software optimization request. And the risk reduction method, we can reduce the risks by providing proper camera and CCTV system, use distributed system with fault tolerance mechanism, and increase with optimization. Now, Binus will continue.
Yes, who is going to continue? Shoham.
Venus is going to continue.
Okay.
Venus, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, sir. For now, I'm presenting this part.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So, sir, here we have shown the Gantt chart showing the real world deployment. So we have shown the overall timeline, like from 2nd to 9th, this public survey will be done. And after that, analyzing survey reports, then testing user requirements, building prototype model, scalability testing, then segment wise validation testing, and at last the issues drafting. So we have distributed among our team that how it will be carried out, the all the steps that we have shown in the earlier Gantt chart.
Hello. So
Hello. Yes, you can continue.
हाँ, I have connected. Actually, कुछ सर दिक्कत आ गया था मेरे लैपटॉप
Okay,
में.
all right. Sure.
So
You can continue.
I joined through phone. So here in the step 7, as you can see, sir, that we have used Gantt chart, which is like one of the most useful tools which is used in software project management to distribute and in order to visualize how the allocation of tasks will be done. So here we have distributed, I can see the resources and how the project deployment will be carried out. Now in the second Gantt chart, we are showing can you scroll? Yeah, in
Yes.
the second Gantt chart,
Scroll.
we have sir, shown how the whole work processes will be carried out among the various team members, like what are the various kind of activities which will be done by them. And can you show?
Yes.
Yeah. So here we have basically presented the various kind of quality aspects of the project. So first is that in our project, the scalability is ensured, which means that sir, our project can be deployed on a larger scale, and there is no problem in that. So basically, we have made this project keeping in mind the COVID-19 scenario, and we have keep that time frame when the cases of COVID-19 in India were very large in number. So we have keep that scenario in mind while making it, and it can be deployable in such conditions also. Now the second step is that the easy installation processes, which can, so we have mentioned the various kind of system requirements. So here, as you can see, that it will easily work on Android version 5.0 and above, and iOS version 10.3 and above. And the app can easily be installed from the Play Store, and with which we have provided a video instruction in Hindi and English, so that in the like the rural areas where the people do not understand English, they can also watch the video which is available in Hindi and then easily install and work with the app. And the third thing which we have included is that there will be less discharging of the phone, which means that our app will work in such conditions where there are some of the smartphones in which there are like charge, because the app will be open all the time. Like whenever you are commuting through train or other kind of transportation. Yeah. So the app will be open throughout for longer duration of time, so that we have included less discharging function, so that whenever the person are commuting longer distances on train or other kind of things, the app can be easily be opened and the charge will be less consumable by it. Now next point. So
Yes.
So the fourth point is that the less energy requirement aspect which we have included in the project, which means that the vast amount of data that will be generated while using the project will be, we have made a system in which the video, which will be captured by the camera, will be directly be processed. We are not using any kind of storage devices for doing this, which uses less energy for that. And the fifth point is that the maintenance. So the maintenance cost for the implementation of this project is very much low, because as you can see that we are not using any kind of storage devices for storing the video which is generated by the cameras. So that maintenance cost is also reduced. So Son, can you scroll down? Hello.
Yes, I have scrolled down.
Yeah. And the last step, sir, is the documents required. So since we will be basically working with the CCTV cameras which are installed across different parts of the country. So basically for doing that, we will be taking the permission of the government, because there are some of the traffic cameras also So for using them, we will be taking the permission of the government, and we will be also be installing in some of the popular malls also. So for doing that, we will be properly taking the permission of the mall owners, so that we can use their cameras and set up our project. Tom, can you scroll down? Yep, that is, I think
it's
that is
over.
it, sir. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah, fair enough. I got the idea of the projects, but one the big thing that I just want to tell you. So, do you know how this the Google traffic management system normally operates? When you ride on a Ola or Uber, you see, or maybe in Google Map as well, you see how where the crowd is more and traffic is more, and where this road is without traffic or less traffic kind of thing. So do you know how this works actually, how the data is being collected from there itself?
So it might be working through the help of some kind of satellite or something like that?
No. It is the number of smartphone operating at that point of time, at that particular place, you can say.
Okay.
You have seen someday somebody has told, like somebody has done an experiment in some country, I forget that. So that guy took almost few thousands of mobile phone on a big tray or a container, and just kept it in a particular place. So it is showing all time 24 hours is showing full of traffic, but actually there's only one container with many mobile phones. Okay, no person, it's a completely blank road. So looking into that like aspect of this entire thing, so do I need to capture videos and all, image processing and all? So I have to think on this, because if I have to know that there are two persons close by, or they are a certain distance, I have to assume this, if this comes below this distance between the two persons, then automatically
Hello?
alert. Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, am I audible to all?
Sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, so instead of keeping cameras inside train or a bus or these,
Your voice is breaking.
okay, let me try out with some other microphone.
So I think it's from your side only, because I'm able
Yes,
to
I
hear
will.
it clearly.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. I'm connecting another microphone.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I think your connection is working fine.
Okay, fine. Then it's okay. So then what I was saying is basically,
Yes, sir.
see, the project that you're talking about is too much of infra dependency. I'm talking about, you need camera, you need server, okay, real time this thing capture, then image processing has to be done, identification and all this thing. So do I need to do all this thing for distance monitoring or maybe social distancing? First of all, I have to
Yes,
ask a question. Okay.
sir.
Yeah,
I
please.
explain. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yes, sir. Sir, I explained this part during the first PPT. So actually, sir, what Google does during tracking is they track through the GPS tracker. But the main fault which lies there is that they can't detect the exact distance between two persons. They can detect how many persons are there in a particular, because they divide the areas into blocks, and they detect that how many GPS location tracking devices are present in a particular block. But our main motivation is to detect the distance between two persons. And also, sir, we need Bluetooth. We are using Bluetooth tracker, but for that to reduce the energy consumption, we are using transceiver. So
No, that's
using
fine.
that,
But how many cameras? See this capturing the distance between the two persons. Basically, how many camera you need and how you're going to focus.
sir, mainly two assumptions we have taken, that the crowded areas like malls or roadsides which are very crowded, in those areas usually already the CCTVs are installed. Like in malls, we see because there are.
But in a crowd area, calculating the distance between two persons, that is the case here. Okay, it is not how many people count and all this thing. It is the
No,
distance
sir.
between two persons and from which angle you are seeing it. Okay. So
Sir,
there are
that will be done based on object detection, because object detection handles that part only, that even it is too crowded or too clumsy, the image, it will still detect the point object. Like it won't see a whole person and it will try to calculate the distance. It will just object as an object, sorry, as a person, and then it will try to calculate the Euclidean distance between those 2 points. So it would face problem due to huge crowd.
but cannot, don't you think it can be solved keeping Bluetooth kind of applications on?
Sir, mainly it will consume huge amount of energy, which is the main problem in already existing devices. So we have integrated these two, as I have in the first PPT, that we will be integrating these two platforms, that in some areas there may not be CCTVs. So to keep the tracking on, we have to use the Bluetooth or GPS tracker, so as to reduce the consumption of energy, as well as when in places where there are CCTVs installed already, we can use those CCTVs to do our purpose solved. And for that, we don't need any extra storage or something, and no extra energy consumption. We can do in this much only. So for infrastructure,
But again, the problem will come when there is no light kind of thing, So if it is some light is present, it falls on the object, the camera detection will be perfect. Okay.
no, sir. Actually, sir, in object detection, what we do is we can detect in even if no light is there. That is called that infrared sensing is there. So it won't be making some problem, as there are many situations like some thief is coming. So how to detect that thief? So in those cases also we use object detection, and there we use infrared sensing. So by using that image processing, we can handle these issues. So the overall system must work fine.
Okay. Have you started doing some prototype for this or only
Yes, sir. No, sir. We have built 2-3 small prototypes, but it is not in the stage of like deployment or something. We
Okay.
have done in unit testing or like in that part.
Okay. So I have gone through this your presentation. So looking into the kind of
Yes.
chapter, next is activity planning we do have basically.
Yes, sir.
So first thing that we will do is basically a feasibility assessment. Of course, whatever we are discussing is nothing but the feasibility assessment of the entire project, like availability of the camera, availability of the backend processing as well, as you told,
Yes, sir.
image processing, or suppose the object is moving from camera zone to no camera zone. Okay, then you are saying
Yes,
there is
yes.
a GPS or a Bluetooth kind of things will be activated. So we need to check the feasibility of this entire thing, like both the entire capturing mechanism plus the analysis in the
Yes.
back end. Okay, and also as
Yes,
you pointed out, in the front end it should be clearly make the visibility
understandable,
okay.
self-explanatory kind.
Then we should
Yes.
focus on when we talk about planning of these activities, basically, then the resource allocations. Of course, in Gantt chart you have shown resource allocation part and the detailed costing. So
Yes,
I could not see the costing as in details, because you only show me the resource, this thing, manpower,
elapsed time and that.
person month.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to see the cost, like cost of infrastructure is huge here, as already you have discussed.
Yes,
Then the server, then because you have to do in a cloud environment, if I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
wrong. Then your manpower cost. Okay, so detail of the costing, how much will be the project cost, and when is that expenditure likely to take place, means which page of this entire, if you divide the project already done in high level Gantt chart, but if you divide the project, which stage means the expenditure will likely to take place, because when we decide on which phase the expenditure will go, okay, then we can decide on the funding part. Right, funding. If you remember, we have studied in chapter 2 regarding different source of funding, different time of funding as well, right? So then we can do a proper ROI, right? I cannot take a complete money on day zero, which is not required at that point of time, and keep on giving the interest of this money. Is it clear? So I have to decide on which which particular phase, what I'm going to do.
Yes.
So after producing an activity plan and allocating the specific resources, we can obtain more detailed estimates of cost and their timing as well, as I told. Okay. So these are the things basically in the activity plan in chapter 6 that we are discussing. You might go, if you go through the PPT that I've shared last week. So you'll see in the activity plan, basically, you have to focus on these. Okay. Now, when to plan what, then project schedules, we have to prepare the schedule, as already have done high level one. So we have to go for the detailed schedule as well. Then we have to define the activities, like what activities, selecting a project, then identify the project scope and objectives already have done. Then identify the project infrastructure also you have done, but more detailing has to be done here because a lot of infra, as I have seen, is involved here. Then analyze the project characteristic, basically what kind of project it is and how it falls into which category. Then identify the projects and activities in details. Okay. Then estimate the effort for each activity. Then identify the activity risk. So once you identify each activity, the risk is not a cumulative one. Risk is in every activity.
Separate phases.
Yeah. Every activity you have to identify the risk involved. And for handling those, like if I identify the risk is this, so I have to identify the resources for it as well, right? So I have to identify the proper resource for this and also review and prioritize the plan as and when it is required. Then execute the plan. Then this is how we have to entirely manage the activity plan and the scope of the projects like that we do. It is already there in the PPT which I've shared. It is already there. You can go through that. So whatever projects you have done, like more detailing has to be done as an activity plan for chapter 6 understanding. Is it clear? It is not very difficult. So whatever you have done, that's what I'm saying. You have done a bird's eye view or maybe 35,000 feet view of this entire thing. But I want now the detailing has to be done as an activity plan.
Okay, sir.
And it involves all these things, whatever we have discussed here, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can work out on those things, yeah.
So for costing part, can you please explain once how to write?
Costing is basically, if you for costing, we had a chapter if you've gone through that. So basically, what are the costs involved? First is your manpower cost, okay?
Yes, sir.
Second is your infrastructure cost. Third is your unseen cost, which is the interest that is taken from different funding agencies. Okay. Now, manpower, you cannot hire all the people at the day one. Okay. So that's why you need to have an activity chat in which, suppose I know that today is my requirement gathering phase. Okay. Then requirement gathering, I need more of a business analyst kind of people or a front-end client communicator people rather than a technical guy, high-end technical person, right? So I have to identify, so this requirement analysis will suppose go on for 2 weeks time. So about the 2 weeks time, I need a person who is more of a business analyst kind of person or a project manager kind of guy. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, after that, you go for, say, high-level design. You need more of an architect kind of guy who are 10, 12 years experience in the technology area. And they have implemented such kind of projects. They have got experience in this. So you need to hire those kind of people. Then you need to engage them for a month, 4 weeks time.
Yes, sir.
Right? Then you need low-level design. Then you go for the coding, hardcore.
Okay.
Guys who are 3, 4, 5 years experience. Okay, they are going to code the entire whatever design is being done low level. They have to implement it entirely into this. Okay.
Okay.
Now you need in that coding phase you need both backend and the front end. Okay, backend and the front end. So backend people are basically more of a database kind of guy who can host the things in the cloud. They should have knowledge about this. And front end coders are basically who are more of a scripting kind of JavaScript and all those who can do, right? So they should do the more of front end kind of PHP and all this. Then next is your testing, okay? And testing though it starts from the beginning, but more of a unit testing and all this thing has to be done in the coding phase, okay? Then after the entire unit testing and the system or testing or integration is being done by the technical people, then it goes for your basically performance testing and then security testing. Then many other testing like IP and all are also there. So they are specialized people who knows that tool how to test a particular product. Is it clear? So they will run the code entirely into that particular tool, and they will tell you what exactly the issues are there. Okay, then you do fix it then and there itself. Then you go for a acceptance testing by the client, this thing, so that your system is ready to deploy. Is it clear?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so for each phase, if you have understood, for each phase you need some kind of expertise, and these expertise for a security testing guy, I need not have to hire in the beginning of a project, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because the security testing will come maybe after 20 weeks or something like that, looking the project size, of course. So then I need to hire during that time, but I have to plan it, right? When I talk about activity plan, I have to plan it properly. That I'm going to hire on 20th week, I'm going to hire this many security test engineers, this many performance testing engineers, this many IP testing engineers. So I should make a proper costing out of this. So this is entire manpower planning. Then comes my, similar to that, my infra cost. Like day one, you do not need this all cameras, okay? Is it clear? So day one, you need one camera or two cameras and do some kind of prototyping and all these things. So subsequently, you can add on. So more and more live photograph will come and all this thing will come. Then you need a lot of space in the cloud, because today you have taken for say 200, 500 users kind of thing. Then it goes on increasing and all, right? So then your scope increases, expansion increases. So in the infra cost also increases. Similar to in the weekly that Gantt chart you have done. So more and more project scopes are being incorporated. Your infra also increases. So you need to plan accordingly. So infra cost, manpower cost, okay. Then hidden cost that you do have already discussed, like you have taken from day zero some funding from different, so that interest also coming involved. So you need to understand this and risk analysis, because the moment why I am focusing risk most here, because something goes wrong, then your cost goes into say 20, 30 times. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is the problem.
Yes, sir.
So unless and until you identify the risk properly in each and every phases of development, then you cannot, because you have to mitigate the risk before it happens. You have to proactive. You cannot take a chance to be reactive. You cannot do the policing, right? You have to proactive. Like you are hosting all data in cloud, and you have not incorporated the cyber security norms, suppose.
Yes.
Then it is if something goes wrong, you are in the soup, you are going to the court of law. So you have to do proactively. So you have to understand cyber security laws and everything, then you have to implement that, right? So looking into all this, you have to plan. So now when I talk about chapter 6 activity planning, so you guys have to focus, as we discussed on this project, you have to focus on detailing of these activities, as a feasibility assessment you do, then the resource allocation you have to do, detail of costing you have to do, detail of risk analysis on each phase you have to do. So these are the things you're supposed to do. So once you identify the activities, it will be easier for you to focus more on this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next, anyone wants to showcase the project so that we can discuss a little more on that? Any group, please come forward. So once you come forward, then only I can understand. Or any questions on this, because your chapter 6 is mostly on this activity. Let me show you the PPT so that you guys can understand what I mean to say about this chapter.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have one more question. Sir, do I need to state the team members' name for these software developers or database administrator, or directly like we can say software developer?
No. Each one, because now you have to go more detailing.
Yes, sir.
So you just have to write for all. For different activities, basically. Right? For different activities you have to do this. I hope my screen is visible to you, right?
Okay, sir.
My screen is visible to all of you? Chapter 6?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll just have a look of this, because nothing so difficult here. What is scheduling? Worked out a method for doing the project, identified the task to be carried out, assess the time needed to do each task. You all do in a Gantt chart. You have already done that. More detailing has to be done. Now, the activity networks help us to ensure that the appropriate resources will be available precisely when required. As I already told, now which phase, which resource is required, that is clear means the clarity has to be there, the visibility has to be there. Avoid different activities competing for the same resources at the same time. So this is another thing that you have to look into. You cannot keep one resource for 2 or 3 different activities at the same point of time, because system will not allow you to do that as well, right? Because he's doing, suppose this week person X is doing this work, though his competency also testing, but he cannot be allowed to do a testing work because he's involved in some other work, right? So that you have to check. Calculate when the cost will be incurred. Okay, that also we discussed. Produce a time cash flow forecast, because each phase you need the cash flow. You know, as I already told, I cannot take everything on day 0. As and when the phases grow, I'll get the, like typically a building construction kind of projects. If you can see the every phase, the bank releases some money, right? So like that, proper timed cash flow has to be forecasted. Produce a detailed schedule showing which staff carry out each activity. Then produce a detailed plan against which actual achievement may be measured, and plan the project during its life to correct drift from the target. So we have to know that the target is being met and we have planned it accordingly. So activity plan will provide a target start and completion date for each activity. The start and completion of the activities must be clearly visible and ensure each activity to produce some tangible product or deliverables. Okay, this is called deliverables. Each activity should produce some kind of deliverables. Okay, the project will progress according to the plan. In case of deviation, identify the cause and the plan to mitigate its effects. An activity plan provides a means of evaluating the consequences of not meeting the activity target dates and guide to bring the project back to the target. So of course, if I do have a plan properly, even if I have done some drifting or some target mismatch for a particular activity, then this plan can help you out to come back to the actual target completion dates. Okay, so you cannot just play around with this, right? You need to think ki, chalo, something got delayed, so whether you need a good resource to complete this, or you need some technology support to complete this, so you have to take a call on that. Then activity network are based on some assumptions, like a project is composed of a number of activities, may start when at least one of its activities is ready to start, and completed when all its activities are completed. Okay, so this is must have clearly defined start and end points, and must have resource requirements that can be forecast. These are assumed to be constant throughout the project. Must have a duration that can be forecast, maybe dependent on other activities being completed first. Okay, so these are the things that you need to take care of when you go for activity planning. So draw up a work breakdown structure listing the work items needed. More detailed. Okay, breakdown structure, just make more detailing of the entire, like as I told, when you talk about a particular phase and the entire risk, it has to be more detailed. Then product-based approach, list the deliverables and intermediate products of project, like all deliverables in each phases as we discussed. So create a PBS for that. Identify the order in which products has to be created, because if you mismatch the order also, then the final products will have will hamper. Okay, and work out the activities needed to create the products. So this is how, like activity, the high level structure, like project, then analyze, design, build. Then design means data design, as I told, backend process design, physical design. Then in the data design, you got relationship of like RDBMS kind of sort of things you have to do, and logical data design you have to do. So these are the things you are to carry out. Then it's called Unified Software Development Process, USDP, product breakdown structure, how it looks like. So in the requirement phase, what do? You do a use case model, actor use cases. Then you do architecture description of the use cases, then the glossary of items that you are using, then user interface prototype you just do. Then do analysis, analyze the model, analyze the package, use case realization you do sequence diagram and all. Then architecture description of the analysis part. Then design, the design model, design subsystem, use case relation design, design class, then interface. Okay. Then comes architecture design, then development model, architecture description, the design part. Then implementation is basically more of a coding and sort of things, building the architecture to be low level design to be implemented in the code. And then you do the testing, right? Test model, test system, test cases. So all these things you do. So this is called USDP product breakdown. For your particular projects, whatever you're doing, so you're supposed to do this breakdown structure. Okay, PBS. Now these are various hybrid approach and all. So this is the hybrid approach. This projects, like what are the software components or the user manual. So this is very easily explainable things you can check. 1 second. See, like Gantt chart you did, see the person wise is being distributed here. Like take the person's name and then weeks, what he's doing and all, right? So A is overall design, B is specify module 1, module 2, like this. You have to explain that, okay? So this is how to create. So it is all there in the PPT and also in the book. If you can refer to the book, let me check the page number. Yeah, page number 161, 162, 163, you can get the detailing of this, whatever you covered, okay? Then what is network planning model is basically project scheduling techniques, the project activities and the relationship as a network. In the network, time flows from left to right, developed in 1950s, uses activity on arrow to visualize. So this is how you can check start node, end node, duration and all. This is being explained like this. So a loop and angle. How to resolve that angle. You can just check this. And part CPM, you know, root analysis. So like this is one example of an annual maintenance contract project when specify system. Specify module B, module C, module D, take specification, and do the design and coding testing, then you get this is how. Most Indian IT service companies, they are running like maintenance contract projects. Right. Then join your part I already done this. So can so these are the different registration start, finish, end, right. So you have to just go through that accordingly to complete. So this is not one example given. How to calculate the float. Hardly start, hardly finish, the duration. Okay, all given. So you have to calculate what is this case. Okay. So this is all about your chapter 6. So as I told you, whatever you guys have done on this, why you are so emphasizing on your project because entire whatever you chapter 6 deliverables but your activity representation, okay, basically any intended activity representation done and chart to art and all this here and proper sequences maintain. Then schedule the activities accordingly. Then you can cite the name of the developers as already seen in one of these examples. Just come back there. Yeah. So you can create a proper our planning process, right? And write down activities are in the various here. So like that you can draw a proper project plan as a bar chart you can do, right? Then you can create a network planning model. So how to modulate a network model. So there one environment contract project, IoT environment project, network diagram, or checkpoint right? So this is how basically for your own project you are supposed to complete. And in the exam also find questions related to like this. Some they will give some example in the book also find out some example. A project example like one project given. Right. So the question will be law and network using precedent conventions and the convention that we have seen for the project compatible response one. Okay, so there is a project implemented that is listed here, like hardware installation, configuration, install the hardware, data migration, draft of procedure, recruit the staffing, user training, then install and test the system. Okay. Now the evaluation for each of the activities. Then the president sends a public. So you have to draw basically the conventions for this particular project. Okay. So like that for your projects, you have to create such conventions. Okay. Using the notation which are being given in the notations are being given in the PPT. You can refer all the for more examples and so. All of you those are why I wanted to highlight here chapter 6 PPT because you guys should know that whatever work you are doing, how much important it is now on whatever chapter are more of an activity and you have to create some market, you have to create some outcome for this. Is it clear? So if of course the GR I don't have attended or not, but all of you please take it seriously and make your if you have not done it, please make your documents ready and further whatever I have told today refer to chapter 6 PPT. Okay, please start doing the detailed activity plan for your own projects. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. To ask, I cannot answer, right? So you have to ask me so that I can clarify those. If you have any doubts, of course.